friends, how are you all? Welcome back to my video. Today we are going to study about the Poetics written by Aristotle and the very demand by Priya Chakravarti. She said on the comment, ma'am, please make video on Poetics. So today we are back with the video on Poetics. The Poetics is written by Aristotle. On my last videos I have tell about Poetics also, Aristotle also. But this video is all about the complete summary of Aristotle Poetics. So in this video we are going to talk about chapter wise summary and explanation of Poetics. And so nothing, let's start. The request is please do comment, like and subscribe my video, and whatever topic you are going to suggest me on the comment. I will be surely making video on this. So friends, Poetics is written by Aristotle and there are 26 chapters in the Poetics, and today I'm going to start chapter 1. And if you want I make video on Poetics, so please do in video on Aristotle, do comment on the video and tell, because Aristotle I have explained about 2 or 3 times in my last videos on the criticisms explanation. So let's start the Poetics. See friends, first chapter in the Poetics is about imitations, the common principle of all arts. First we have to remember how many chapters are there. In Poetics there are 26 chapters, and the first chapter name is Imitations, the common principle of all arts. So what Aristotle want to say in this chapter? Let's start. The first chapter deal with the imitations. Imitation is the spirit of all arts. Aristotle says that imitation is the spirit of all arts. Epic poetry, tragedy, comedy and music. Means it is the spirit of all according to the Aristotle, and other arts based on imitation. True, it is the true that there is method of imitation is different from one another. All are the parts of imitation, but it is different from one another. Yet it is also true that every art remain alive only by imitation. These arts are different, not only their medium and manner of imitation. Aristotle is also saying there are imitation and manner of imitations are different, but also different in their object of imitation. But they are also different in object of imitation. So 3 things there Aristotle is talking: imitation, manner of imitations, object of imitations. By imitation, imitations ka means what Aristotle is saying there. By imitation, Aristotle does not mean a photography. Means here a photography, reproduction, but Aristotle mean expression, idealization or represent. True, imitation is the common principle of the fine art. The various art different from each other in 3 ways. So friend, as I say, Aristotle in first chapter, imitation, the common principle of all arts. Here he is saying it is common, but there are 3 different things. The medium of imitation. First we have to remember the medium of imitation in their object of imitation. Second is in their object of imitation, and third, or in the manner of their imitation. Third we have to remember in the manner of their imitation. See, so 3 points of in first chapter Aristotle is dealing with the 3 points. First is the medium of imitation, second is in their object of imitation, third in the manner of their imitation. So I have written a little explanation also about this chapter, so let me tell this. By means of imitation are mean the medium material through which the artist imitate. Imitation means the medium through which artist is wanna imitate it. Color, it can be like color, from which sound, various imitations which Aristotle lists. Color and sounds are the various imitations. Sound is further divided into 2. Sound is divided in language and rhymes, rhythms, and harmony and melody. Sound is divided into language, rhythms, sound and harmony and melody. For example, the medium of painter is color and that of the poet is language. The medium of painter is color and the medium of language is poet is language and rhythm. So 2 things. And first there are 3 mediums. First there are 3 mediums of imitations. Medium of imitation, in their object of imitation, or in the manner of imitations. And then imitation means And again, it is explanation. Imitation means the artist want to imitate, and it is divided like then it is divided in sound and color. Sound is divided in further parts like language, rhythm, melody, and harmony. Example is the medium of painter is color, and the medium of poet is language, rhythm, and melody. So first chapter is going to complete over here. This is all about the first chapter. Aristotle means imitation. Aristotle means the poet want to imitate with the us, and how he can imitate? He can imitate with the sound, language, rhythm, melody, and medium of imitations. There are object of imitations. There are manner of imitations. So next chapter is first chapter over here, and this is the complete explanation of the first chapter. Now we will talk about second chapter. So second chapter is about object of imitation, tragedy and comedy. Let's start second chapter. In this chapter, Aristotle is explaining that there is difference between tragedy and comedy. Aristotle want to say that there is difference between tragedy and comedy. As you all know, there is tragedy is like a tragedy in someone's life, and comedy is like a full of humorous and full of funny, full of thing which we laugh about. So in this chapter, Aristotle is saying tragedy idealized means tragedy deals with imitates man as better or higher. In tragedy, man is shown like that higher or it is better version. In tragedy, the better version of man is shown, and comedy characters means comedy character is like means so man as worse or lower. In comedy, how man is shown like worse or man. In comedy movies also you have seen always the man who play the role of comedy is always a fat person or a short in height. So it is the theme of comedy that man is shown always a worse. They are actually, but they are not actually. They are not actually like that, but they are shown like that to make it a comedy, to make people laugh. Poetry is concerned with possibilities, and when talk about poetry, it is full of possibilities with what truth to be, what truth we want to deal with, and not with photographic realism. Poetry is what it is. In poetry, not a photography is shown, not any body actor or not anything is shown. In poetry, there is a imagination which deals with the possibilities. Like when we read poetry, it seems like that we are there, we are realizing these things. So this is poetry. So in second chapter, Aristotle deal with object of imitations, tragedy and comedy. Aristotle says that tragedy and comedies are different. In tragedy, man is shown as a better version as they are not. In comedy, man are shown as a lower version or worst version as they are not. And in poetry, there is a possibilities which deals with like that realism, which shows us like to we can feel. In poetry, words make us feel that we are there, as we have written many poetry about nature, about life, and this, and there are very many things, possibilities. So this is second chapter. Second chapter is this much about. So we have to remember the thing is that the object of imitation, tragedy and comedy. First we have to remember the name of chapter, and it deals with the tragedy and comedy. So that's all about second chapter. Aristotle deals in this. So friends, coming to the third chapter, first we have to remember the name of third chapter, manner of imitation, epic and tragedy. In third chapter, we are going to read about manner of imitation. The art are further distinguished from each other by manner of imitation. The Aristotle is saying art is further divided into manner of imitation, and they are like in this there are three type of manner of imitation which we have to learn. The first manner of imitation is the poet may use the narrative method throughout. First manner of imitation is poet may use narrative method. What is the narrative method? Narrative method in which the poet describes with narratively by telling a story, like is the narrative method. On second, he may use dramatic method. Second, he is saying he may use dramatic method, that is describe thing through assumed character. Dramatic matter in which character is shown and which describe the things, like describe things through assumed character or show things actually being done. In dramatic method, it is like that they act on this, and in narrative method, they talk about a poet. They talk about the poet narrative it. Okay. Third, the poet may use a combination of these two methods. Third method is in which the poet may use these two methods together. Like he may narrate a part of story. He may narrate a part of story and then represent part of through its dialogue between assumed character. See, dear friend, there are three types in the manner of imitation: epic and tracery. First is the poet may use the narrative method throughout. First is poet may use narrative method throughout. Second, he may use the dramatic method. Second is he is using completely dramatic method. And third, he may use both the method with combining together. And with combining together, how can he use? How he can use a little part of the this, like he can narrate and little he can show by the, like he can show by assuming a character on this. So this is third chapter. Let's talk a little summary about it. The third chapter, first we have to very important remember, if any question in any exam it can add which the third chapter of Aristotle Poetic deals with the, so the answer will be the third chapter of narrative. The third chapter of Aristotle Poetics deal with the manner of imitation, epic and tracery, in which it is shown there are three part of, like first part narrative, second part dramatic, and third part combination of both the things narrative and dramatic. So this is the third chapter Aristotle deals with in this Aristotle Poetics. Next above we will talk about the fourth chapter. Fourth chapter is like something, chapter 4 is about. So friend, in the fourth chapter, Aristotle deal with the origin and development of poetry. Fourth, we have to remember, fourth chapter deal with the origin and development of poetry. Poetry had its origin in four human insights. Four type of origin of poetry is there. So first, the natural human to imitate things. First is that in naturally human is imitating things, or we observe in the case of monkeys and children. Like first how can we develop the poetry? By observing it. Like children see something and or what monkey see something, and what we do, he used to copy this. So first is that, first how poetry or for poetry origin is like natural human. What natural human do? They imitate things, and we observe in case of monkeys and children. Second, the natural pleasure. Second is thing when talk about natural, we get from good work of imitation. Second, it is for this reason that accurate imitation of even ugly object give pleasure. Sometimes we feel like that ugly things also give us pleasure, which in which we feel something like it is great, it is good. So we used to write about this. This is about nature. Second, poetry origin is from nature. Third, learning or knowing something new. Third, poetry origin is come from when we learn or when we know something new is always pleasure. It is for this reason that we derive pleasure from an imitation of an object we have seen before. So in third chapter is this about, third chapter, fourth chapter, third point of origin of development of poetry is learning or knowing something new is always pleasure. When we learn something, when we talk about something new is always a pleasure. So in this pleasure, when we write a poem is the origin of the poetry. This is according to Aristotle. Okay. It is for this reason that we derive pleasure from an imitation of an object we have seen before. That's like when we see something before and we feel like that, when we observe the things, when we think we know, the deep inside we feel that we should write a poet. So like this is the, according to Aristotle, is the origin of poetry. So according to Aristotle, there are three type of origin of and development of poetry. First, when we observe something, when we see something, we copy it. Second, from the nature, and third, from the learning and knowing the new things. So it's three type origin of development, chapter 4. Friend, the thing we have to remember is the chapter name chapter wise. Chapter 4, Origin and Development of Poetry. So, in the chapter 4 only, Origin and Development of Poetry, Aristotle notes that also that after giving these 3 points of development of poetry, and Aristotle notes the panicular position. He said that about a position of Homer who extol both in the serious and fabulous. When he's saying that he write about both the topic, like sometimes serious and something about fabulous. Fabulous means that something which deal with the happiness, or is the poet like who can talk about the both the, just as he is great poet, just he's saying about that about himself. He's talking he's great poet in the field of comic and lights. Means, see, fabulous means lights and the serious means something very serious, and he's saying he's also can write about comic and light. His Iliad and Odyssey are the serious epic. As we know, we have written about Iliad and Odyssey is the serious epic, where Margits is a comic epic in which he is the first to give a picture of ridiculous, which is essence of comedy. Friends, when we talk about Margits, Margits is a poet written by Aristotle, which is lost, which we never found, but the description of this is given in the Aristotle Poetics chapter 4, which he is talking himself that I have written a poet, Margits. Margits is a comic epic in which he is the first to give a picture of comedy. So he's saying that I am the only one. Aristotle is saying to himself that I am the only one who has given a Margits in which it is lost. Which it is lost, that we are saying that it is lost because we never found this work. Margits, however, has been lost. So this is all about chapter 4. In chapter 4, he's talking about the origin and development of poetry, and he's saying about the type of epic he written, like Iliad and Odyssey, which are the very serious, and Margits is very comedy, which is Margits is a comedy which is given by Aristotle, and which is a lost work of Aristotle. But he's saying in the Margit, I have given the first comedy work. He's saying the first comedy picture of ridiculous, which is essence of comedy, which shows the full of comedy, but we never found the work Margit. So friend, this is all about chapter 4. I hope I'm doing good. Is there any problem, then please do comment and tell me. And I will also last chapter I'm going to explain chapter 5, so it may not be a long, and long is always like we get disturbed. So we will read about chapter wise. In this video I will tell 5 chapters, and the last 5th chapter is about. So friend, on 5th chapter Aristotle deals with definition of ridiculous, epic and tragedy. 5th chapter is about definition of ridiculous, epic and tragedy. So in the first line, he is saying the definition is describing and talking about definition. Aristotle say that ridiculous does not ugly. Ridiculous does not means that ugly, but it means that as the spice of ugly. He's saying ridiculous means the spice of ugly. So in exam question can arrive like that. What is the meaning of ridiculous? What is the meaning of ridiculous according to Aristotle? So the answer we have to take is, we have to mark on that, spice of ugly, not ugly and not another option, or just see spice of ugly, you can see and just take it. So next, start the chapter. You know that definition of ridiculous is the spice of ugly, and now the Aristotle is dealing with epic and tragedy. He is starting like saying like that epic and tragedy are similar in as much as both of them represent serious. Why epic and tragedy is serious? Because they both represent seriousness, this action of serious character better than the average. So the thing we have to surely remain that how, according to Aristotle, how epic and tragedy are similar. They are similar because they show or they represent the serious. What they represent? Seriousness, action of serious character better than the average. average seriousness is average, and what epic and tragedy show? Seriousness more than average. So what is, according to Aristotle, epic and tragedy, they show more than seriousness, average seriousness. Okay, now Aristotle is telling the difference between tragedy and epic. First, Aristotle has told similarity between them. Now he is going to deal with the difference between tragedy and epic. Epic is the narrative, while tragedy is dramatic in form. So what he is dealing, epic is narrative while tragedy is dramatic in form. Second, epic use only 1 meter. What epic use? Only 1 meter. The heroic. In epic only 1 meter is used, it is the heroic, while tragedy can use different meters. Tragedy can use different meter in different part, verse for dialogue and song for the choric poet. So in tragedy we can use verse also, and we can use choric also, songs also, but not in epic. Epic only one form, which is a heroic. Third, epic is much longer. Epic is long. Third, epic is much longer because its action is not limited. Epic action is not limited by time or place. Epic action is not limited by time or place, while the action of tragedy is combined. What Aristotle said, the action of epic is not limited, while the action of tragedy is combined to a single circuit. Action of tragedy is combined to a single circuit, and it is also known as a single circuit of the sun. It was the statement from which were derived the units of time and place by letter circuit. At the end of chapter 5, Aristotle say a very important thing which we have to remember. I am going to tell that. At the end of chapter 5, Aristotle say tragedy is superior to epic. What he is saying, tragedy is superior to epic because all the elements of an epic are found in tragedy. All the elements of an epic are found in tragedy, whereas all the elements of tragedy are not found in epic. What Aristotle is saying, that tragedy is a superior to epic because all the elements of an epic are found in tragedy, whereas all the elements of tragedy are not found in epic. We have to remember that spectacles and melody are the part of tragedy. Spectacles and melody are the part of tragedy, but they are not part of epic. So they are not part of epic. However, epic has an advantage of representing large span of life. So Aristotle is saying in epic we can represent a large span of life, not in tragedy, and tragedy is superior to epic. While, so a friend, it can ask that why, according to Aristotle, why tragedy is superior to epic. So the answer, because of all elements of an epic are found in tragedy. All elements of an epic are found in tragedy, whereas all the elements of tragedy are not found in epic. So that's all about the chapter 5. Chapter 5 name is definition of ridiculous, epic and tragedy. Ridiculous means the spice of ugly, not a ugliness. So friends, at last do comment, subscribe and share my video, so because that motivates me to make new videos. And thank you for commenting me and telling me to make this video. And today I'm going to tell only chapter 5 is 5 all I have completed in this video, all 5 chapter. On next video I will complete another chapters. And the thing you and me have to remember that there are 26 chapters in Aristotle Poetics. So at last, thank you. Have a great day. Bye.